welcome to the Guardians of Sacred Heart photo exhibition. Firstly, I would like to thank the Kuala Lumpur photography organizers and sponsors for showcasing the Canossian sisters. My name is Belinda Ong. I'm from class of 1987. And where's the picture? Yes. This is the parlor room of Sacred Heart Convent, and this is where my journey began in 1977. Next, please. Here we see the elegant crest of the Sacred Heart Convent badge, depicting the Canossian sisters' shield. The crown at the very top symbolizes the supremacy of God over all, and all for the glory of God. The four-pointed star with rays cast onto the book symbolizes the star of wisdom, radiating on knowledge. The star represents lofty ideals, stirring us to great and more noble deeds. At the bottom of the crest, the words Via Veritas Vita, the way, the truth, the life. Next, please. This special lady is Sister Bertilia. We spent many hours in a parlor together. Started in Standard 1. We shared biscuits, tea, and stories, and she introduced me, like many other girls, to the Soldiers of God, a weekly comic magazine, which we girls enjoyed very much and grew to love. Next, please. The special uniqueness of Sacred Heart Convent is that we have the kindergarten feeding into the primary, which in turn feeds into the secondary. Here we see Sister taking a kindergarten class in an action song, and by their action, I reckon it must be Are You Sleeping, Brother John, which we all learned when we were young. Next, please. The Sacred Heart Kindergarten started in 1933. Saint Magdalene of Canossa, our foundress, believed that every child is entitled to an education. Our school doors are open to one and all. Here we see the kindergarten and Sister, most likely is Sister Josephine, taking them. Next, please. Small individual chalkboards were a popular and efficient learning medium in the 50s and 60s. Here we see Sister taking a small group of children, extracurricular, in extra lessons away from the classroom. And we usually use these chalkboards for learning the alphabet or for doing mathematics. Next, please. Here we see the primary and secondary girls at recess. After a mid-morning snack at the tuck shop, adjacent to the field here, we enjoyed some playtime and some exercise after the recess. At the very background, you see a sister taking the younger children in fun and games, and in the foreground, you see the older ones leading and mentoring the younger children. Those in the skirts are actually prefects. Next, please. This is Sister Maria Casati, as you see at the name below. She is taking primary girls in embroidery. Crosses and loops must be stitched in the checkered boxes. Otherwise, we had to unpick our work and we had to be very careful so as not to waste the thread. Now, I learned this also with Sister Bertilia in the parlor room. And from this humble needlework, we learned important life lessons. We learn to do things right the very first time. We learn to avoid unnecessary mistakes. And we learn, more importantly, to help each other along. Next, please. Another popular and efficient teaching tool was the humble poster. Here we see Sister taking a class in faith formation. As Sister explained and weaved stories, our imagination took on a life of its own. Next, please. This is Sister Elizabeth again, teaching in class. She's actually a cousin of mine. If you look at this picture, you will notice that we sat together, we walked together, we ate together, and usually it was always with our best friend. In Canossa, we learned to share. We shared a book, as you can see here. We shared notes, we shared food. But most importantly, we nurtured friendships that last a lifetime. Next, please. Here we see sister taking a class in music, dancing, and singing. Lessons like these taught us to be graceful and elegant. We learned poise, and all this were learned in the Red Hall below the chapel. It's beautiful. Huh? Next, please. This is the secondary school in Portuguese settlement, which which Josephine and sister shared earlier on with Karen too. You see the signage on the board there that says Sacred Heart Convent. We were previously known as Sacred Heart Convent, and then sometime during the mid-80s, we reverted to our original name of Canossa Convent. We usually cycle and walk to and from school. A gaggle of girls laughing, talking, singing gives you an idea of Maria von Trapp from The Sound of Music. But that's how it was. In the background, you can see a sister keeping an ever watchful eye over us girls, like a mother hen. Next, please. Here we see sister helping and guiding the visually impaired and the hearing impaired. In the next slide now. Next slide. Yeah, so here is sister also, another sister, guiding and helping the hearing impaired. For us to remember, for none is more blind or deaf than one who loses his or her vision or hearing. Next, please. Here we have a team of novices. A novice is a nun in training. These sisters have not finished their vocational training and have not taken their final vows. So these novices we see here are actually preparing their lessons for the following week and also going about their daily chores. Next. Here we have Sister Josephine and Sister Cecilia. They are on their regular home visits. This is the home of a M. Santa Maria in Portuguese settlement. And to this very day, sisters still do home visits. I've actually been on numerous ones with Sister Elizabeth in settlement and outside of settlement too. Okay, next please. Here again we have sisters visiting the elderly. A kind word, a big smile, a touching hand to remind us all that we are children of God, to be kind and generous with each other. Next. This is a mobile clinic. Sisters drive to villages and the outskirts where people need help. Many of our sisters are trained not only as teachers but as nurses too. And happily, they share their knowledge and their experience in helping make another's life better. So you can see from here, sister is writing. And next, please. This is the world before PCs. Typing, like bookkeeping, was an important employable skill that we needed to have. So after Form 5, after SPM or the equivalent of O levels, when we go into the employment market, so we had to have some typing skills. And sisters usually organized and taught such vocational courses. Next, please. Here is Sister Teresa Yo. I remember attending such class with her in the late 80s. It only cost 10 ringgit a month. What a great smile she has, huh? Befitting a beautiful lady. Next, please. Next. Hello. Next. This is Magdalene of Canossa again. A visionary, a missionary, without whom many of us will not be where we are today. Her belief is one I hold very dear. That is, the heart of education is the education of the heart. Next, please. These are the sisters from provinces in Malaysia. And to these beautiful people, past, present, and future sisters, we thank you and are grateful for your presence, guidance, and love.